Okay, so thank you so much for this moment together, for this meditation, contemplation. See, and this music that is coming to us, like I just played, is really for us. Like it's a gift. I never heard of it. I saw it just before the meeting started. It's like all gifts are coming just for you to have a deep experience of your connectedness, to feel supported, to feel comforted in a real way, in a real place. So everything falls into place for that, and that is so beautiful to see how that works. So this was specially composed for this meeting, and it didn't exist before that, for sure. So it's a total gift. Yeah, so today we continue then with the talk, I Am the Way, and I want to introduce it a little bit. Joel is giving us, say, invitations to like agreements. This is fourth time that this happens in the talk, and in a moment we're going to listen to that, but I want to use these agreements that he's giving us today to just take a look at it. And it's like, oh, let's stand still for a moment with what he actually shares. Like, what is it that he wants us to agree with? And or come into maybe that's the most important thing, to come to the inner agreement of the truth about it and the consequences that it entails. Like, you can accept the idea that God is omnipresent and omniscient and all this, but that's happening in you. So that is something that will open up in your consciousness, since you're an extension of the love of God. So these agreements have to do with the practicality of learning. Like, you accept the idea, you get in touch with it, it's like, wow, that's beautiful, I love it, I love that idea. And but it doesn't stop there. So it's like the acceptance. You hear about the idea, you accept it, but then you also start to practice it, to actually use it, bring it into expression in your own personal, in your own way of dealing with yourself, your world, say, it has consequences. It asks for expression or demonstration, if you want. So that is the part that maybe feels like a real challenge, because it is like, to hang out in a sphere of beautiful meditations, beautiful words, and it's like, oh, it's so lofty and so beautiful, that's great. But at a certain point, you will have to start to do the work, literally. This what you have heard and loved so much, you start to almost like incarnate into your physicality, into the practice of yourself, as a practitioner, as a teacher, as a demonstrator of the truth that you recognize yourself to be. And that part of yourself that is the truth, that part of your, say, the real part of your consciousness, you could say. And so in the meditation we saw this too. It's like there's a connection with you and the source. Like, when it doesn't come from there, it's nothing. Like, of my own self, I could not do anything. And you probably recognize that you try to do all kinds of things and try to solve all kinds of so-called perceived problems in your daily life. See, all this is in fact, like you could say, a denial of this complete trust in source. See, and this is the part where you start to not like it so much, when it really comes down to the practicality and your acceptance. It's like it's the idea literally integrates into your physicality, but doesn't stay there. Not to make your earthly life better, but to let it literally be accepted by you. to that every cell of your body is representing that. And so this is really what you could say like the physical resurrection is, or the illumination of mind, body, mind. And that has to do with that too. It's like you're going to find out how that is for you. Now Joel helps us today then with 4 agreements that he puts in front of you. It's like you've heard, Jesus said it too many times, like you have heard it has been said, you know, and then it comes. Now, well, Joel comes with something comparable to that too. It's like here's something that we have presented so much, that I've shown you and taught to you many times. But, you know, and then it comes. So we're going to look at 4 of these expressions, just to mention a few, because there are more, of course. There's always more. Yeah. It is only when you agree for yourself, like totally, the Spirit of God is within you, right? The Spirit of God is within me. You can say that if you want. The Spirit of God is within me. So that's something that's happening right now. The Spirit of God is within me, is with you, within you. And that the Spirit of God accompanies you, right? That the Spirit of God is upon you. That the Spirit of God goes where you go. Now you can only, Joel says here, it is only when you agree that the Spirit of God is with you, that he accompanies you, that the Spirit of God is upon you, that the Spirit of God goes with you wherever you go. Like it's only when you agree to that, that you will experience that. So this is one of the examples. So this has everything to do then with the acceptance. So I'll get out of this. So it has everything to do with the acceptance of it. It's like you can say, Spirit is with me. That's fine. No, it's like when I start to believe that, like literally start to use that, then it comes like into my consciousness. Otherwise it floats around in my superficiality of mind and it doesn't do anything. So it's like, no, you want to feel this. This is palpable. You can feel the presence of Spirit in your daily activities. If you say agree that that's a possibility. Otherwise you're literally not giving yourself a chance to experience the guidance that you need. Because how else are you going to find out what Spirit wants if you're not connecting with it? See, this is where we go a step further. This is why this is really, you could say, a healing group and healing moment together. Because now we're actually asking you to agree with that in a sense of not just an acceptance, but more like, this is what I use. This is what is going to tell me what to do, where to go, what to say. Like Spirit literally is with me, he accompanies me, and I'm allowing that to be fully in my awareness. I will use it actively. Otherwise I have no idea where to go. I would feel myself completely lost and not knowing what to do. Now this is the acceptance of Spirit, you could say, of the descent of Spirit on you, in you, is really like an experience that you can have, that you can invite, that will always be answered. So it's like, that's not a threat, by the way. It is an invitation. Like, it's not a threat. The Spirit is here to bridge the gap between you and your separate ideas about yourself, and on your way back home, on your way back to the full recognition that I and my Father are one. Like on that path, on the infinite way of that, we're actually coming to a point where we start to accept these ideas and agree with them. And agreeing with them is also not to say deny them. I think that's a that's a good part to say it like this. It's like when you agree with it, you have accepted it as truth, and you're going to live by it. Like you accept it as your own modus, like your modus vivendi. This is the way that you're going to live your life now. You accept Spirit's presence and its guidance for you, and you will ask for it and wait and listen until it guides you wherever you go. So this is literally what Joel is asking you to do. Or he says it as a way of agreement. So not to deny it is something you will become like increasingly aware, because you feel that it's not working. You feel that you're fighting against yourself or against whoever you think is separate from you. So this is, this is a great learning moment in that sense. It's a great moment to say, discover how this works in you. And of course you have experience with this. So let's go to the next. So this was the Spirit. The Spirit of God is with you. So he performeth that which is given me to do. He performeth that which is given me to do. Like he performs it, that which is given me to do. I'm not doing it. No, I would not be able to do that. I don't have to do that. He performeth that which is given me to do. So now this is great. So whenever you experience yourself as that you have to put so much effort in it, that you think that everything is on your shoulders, that you think that you have to do things or must do things, then wait just a second. He performeth that which is given me to do. So this he that is within me, Joel says, this he that is within me. Again, let us agree that whoever or whatever this he may be, it refers to a presence, a power within me. He performeth that which is given me to do. So that's the he that is within me. Again, let us agree that whoever and whatever this he may be, it refers to a presence, a power within me, like the tree. You know, that's why I put a tree in the background. It's like you cannot see this apart from Source, since you are an extension of Source, since you are the instrument. Let this flow through you, this presence, this power. He performeth that which is given me to do. So I love that. So you can ask, I can ask now, so are you agreeing with that? Are you taking this almost like vows? Like, are you taking this as the practice of your daily life, to let him performeth that which is given you to do? Recognizing that the power is within you. So here's another beautiful one. Again, can we come to an agreement within yourself that this, fear not, I am with you. Fear not, I am with you. Can you come to an agreement with yourself, within yourself, that this is your truth? I am with you. Fear not, I am with you. I am is going to do all this. I am cannot be threatened by anything. I am doesn't have opposing forces, cannot be attacked. Fear not. Fear not. So that means in situations where you experience fear or anxiety or whatever comes your way. Remember this: I am with you. So when you start to accept this for yourself, as an agreement with yourself, the fear will be released. The fear will be gone. Like, no matter how it's going to look, it really does not matter. It is not depending on outside images, appearances, reflections, whatever. None of that. Fear not. I am with you. Okay, so one more, and that's this one. Therefore, when you come to an agreement within your own consciousness that the Spirit of God is within me, that the Spirit of God goes before me to make the crooked places straight, the Spirit of God goes before me to prepare mansions for me, the Spirit of God dwelleth in me, the Spirit of God has ordained me. Only when you have come into this agreement do you become children of God. So the agreement is, Joel is really pointing at the acceptance of this for yourself. Like, you have to accept this for yourself. That's where it comes down to. Then you will experience yourself as a child of God. Up to that moment, it is just an idea. Up to that moment, it is just a concept. And it doesn't do much, except that you know that you have almost like a lifeline in your hand with, whenever I need it, I can use it. Well, that's this moment. There's not going to be a better time to use this, what he's sharing. It's like the Spirit of God is within me. He prepares, he makes the crooked places straight and does all that for me. So that means I'm not going to try to solve my own problems or to follow my way to do all this. Like, no. That time is over. So coming into a whole different way of acceptance for yourself, like a deeper layer of acceptance. The light in you, like, will be more present and will guide you, will literally help you to stay in your peace and to become quiet when necessary instead of responding. So all this is based on agreement, is on allowing that not just to be an idea, but to accept it into your, literally, like into your physicality is as far as I would think it goes, like into your whole being. It's going to be accepted into your whole being, and none of it is left outside. So then when you agree to that, when you accept that, then you can find yourself a child of God and not being concerned about tomorrow. Giving, not holding anything for your security and safety, not being possessive whatsoever, but giving it freely away. That what you have found as your greatest gift to yourself, in fact, your self-discovery, the discovery of the center of your being. And so this is literally what Joel tries to convey to us in this talk that we're going to listen to in a moment. I am the way. He performeth all things for me. He performeth all things. It's like I performeth all things. That has nothing to do with my individual personality or with my ideas. No, these ideas are not useful anymore. Like, I have accepted the Spirit as my guide. I have accepted that, He performeth all things. So like we had the four agreements in this that came to us today, and I think that's great. That's just a lovely start. So this is what I mean. It's always like very well dosed. We could say it's like this is exactly right for this moment for you to take another look at, or to start accepting that for yourself. you get immediate result, you could say. You get immediate result because you're going to feel different about yourself when you make this agreement with yourself. And that's not just a mental decision for yourself. No, this is immediately also a practice where you're going to respond differently to what you have been used to for a long time and are awakening out of. So you're not falling into the same history again and perpetuating this history, allowing all things to be new. See, but these words we've used a lot, and that's why Joel comes to. At a certain point, you come to, okay, I can repeat these words, no problem, I'm willing to do that. But this is all about the acceptance. When you start to accept this, something really fundamentally starts to change in your life. Because so far you maybe made a deal with yourself, like, well, these are great ideas. I love to sit in my closet and read them and pray and be still. But this is even more than that. It's like, it's great to practice this in your closet, wonderful. Now you're actually going to literally demonstrate that. Be that. Be that child of God. Be the love, all the love in the universe. Not knowing how to behave doing so and waiting for guidance from spirit. So this is very much like doing the work. The profound work of awakening, individual work, you could say, like allowing this to come into your every aspect of your being. All right, so thank you so much for this for now, and we're going to listen to Joel.
Good evening. One passage of Scripture, incorrectly interpreted, has kept our world in spiritual darkness for 1700 years. That same passage of Scripture, correctly interpreted, can set the world free. But to accomplish this, there must be the 10 righteous men in the city to show forth the correctness, the rightness, the fruitage of an understanding of that passage. The passage is, I am the way. On this one passage hinges man's spiritual ignorance, spiritual darkness, or spiritual enlightenment. And of course, spiritual enlightenment means freedom, peace, abundance. All that the Master meant to convey when he said, I am come that ye might have life, and that ye might have life abundantly. When we personalize that passage, I am the way, and believe that it refers to a person, we are then in spiritual darkness. We are not worshiping God, we are worshiping person. And more especially a person who says, I can of my own self do nothing, If I speak of myself, I bear witness to a lie. And think of the degree of spiritual ignorance in which one lives, the degree of spiritual darkness when one worships and prays to someone who frankly, openly, and honestly declares, I can of my own self do nothing. If I speak of myself, I bear witness to a lie. Rightly interpreted, I am the way means what it says. The way, the truth, the life more abundant, is to be found in I. The I that I am, the I that you are. For you shall call no man on earth your father. There is but one Father, and this is God. Therefore, if God is your Father, then if I and my Father are one, you and your Father are one. And it is in that oneness that you find spiritual freedom, spiritual harmony, spiritual grace, a life by grace, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit, saith the Lord. I is the way. And that way reveals that I and my Father are one. And Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. I will be with thee unto the end of the world, even if your mother and your father forsake you. I will be with you. Therefore, it is in this word I that you find the entire secret of the spiritual message given to this world by Christ Jesus, and a message that was destined and still is destined to set men free break from them all shackles, all limitations, that they may live as children of God, completely free, under the domination of no man, under the domination of no circumstances or conditions, under the grace of God. When this is translated into our practical living experience, we begin to understand some of the passages of Scripture that have heretofore been obscure. For instance, he that is within me is greater than he that is in the world. Now stop for a moment. You are not listening to a lecture. You are not attending a class. You have come here to ponder the deep things of God. not to sit in a chair and hear words. Therefore, pause for just a moment and ponder this. He that is within me is greater than he that is in the world. Who is this he? Is there any he within you other than the I of your own being, your own self, in other words? Is there another? I can of my own self do nothing. The Father within me, he doeth the works. Ponder this for a moment. Who is this Father within me? At least come to the conclusion that it does mean that there is a presence within you, a power as well, since it doeth those things appointed for me to do. He performeth that which is given me to do. This he that is within me. Again, let us agree that whoever or whatever this he may be, it refers to a presence, a power within me. And all the others, fear not, I am with you. Again, can you come to an agreement within yourself that this fear not, I am with you, again refers to a presence, a power, a wisdom? Fear not. Be not afraid. It is I. Does this not refer to a presence, a power? Be not afraid. There must be an omnipotence if you are not to fear. There must be an omnipresence, an omniscience. Be not afraid. It is I. Fear not. I am with you. Again, ponder. Do not merely hear the words that I speak, but ponder them. Does not all of this reveal to you that there is a presence within you, a power, a wisdom, closer to you than breathing, nearer than hands and feet? Whether we accept the Master's designation of I or the Father within, or Paul's statement, I can do all things through Christ. Christ that dwelleth in me. Again, the Spirit, the presence, the power, the wisdom within me. Not only within Christ Jesus, now within Paul. The secret of this passage, then, is that there is an indwelling presence in you, in me, in all. And since this message was addressed to saints and sinners, then it must apply to saints and sinners now. Since it was addressed to Hebrews then and Christians later, it must apply to Hebrews now and Christians also, and all others who hear this word, who hear that we are not to fear, we are not to be afraid. It is I, the Christ, the presence, the power, the wisdom. Be still and know that I am God. A man or this presence, power, wisdom within you. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. A man or I, this presence, this power, this wisdom within you. Once you have perceived this, you embark on a whole new way of life. Because now you can understand Isaiah saying, cease ye for a man whose breath is in his nostrils, for wherein is he to be accounted of? Cease ye from dependence on princes, persons. Cease ye, and remember that within you is this presence of I, the Father, the Christ, the presence of God, the Spirit of God. Give it any name you like, but remember that it is invisible, incorporeal, impersonal. It is as much in the sinner awaiting recognition as it is in the saint awaiting recognition. It is as much in the Hebrew, the Christian, the Vedantist, the Buddhist, as in anyone who has ever lived or ever will appear on earth. Because it is addressed to you who ought to call no man on earth your father, but acknowledge that the creator of your being is spirit. The creator of your being is the creator of my being, the creator of all being, for there is but one. Now, the reason that it is necessary that we ponder these statements until one by one or two by two, each of us individually comes to the realization there is a presence within me. Wherever I may be, if I mount up to heaven, I find it. If I make my bed in hell, I find it. If I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I find it. For neither life nor death can separate me from this presence. We must not hasten or attempt to hasten our spiritual journey, we must not attempt to get past this very point until we have come to the definite conclusion and conviction that the place whereon I stand is holy ground. For where I am, there is this presence. Where I am, in prison or out, in disease or out, in health or out, where I am at this moment, that presence is. He that is within me is. The Christ within is. The I that has come to comfort us is. The I that will never leave us nor forsake us is now within me. Wherever I may find myself at this particular moment of experience, I can go no further until I have come to this recognition, until I have come to this conviction, because my tomorrows will be no different than my yesterdays until I do come to an inner assurance that there is this He within me, this I, because of whom I need not fear, because of whom I need not be afraid. Be not afraid, it is I. Fear not, I am with you. Therefore, do not leave this moment of revelation, even if it takes a month or a year. Do not try to go beyond this moment of revelation, regardless of how many months it may take, for you to reach the absolute inner conviction that where I am, God is. That I need never fear, I need never be afraid. This presence is with me. Because without this realized presence, you are not only the man of earth, you are the creature, the natural man, of whom Paul said, you are not under the law of God, neither indeed can be, and you receive not the things of God. It is only when you agree that the Spirit of God is with you, that the Spirit of God accompanies you, that the Spirit of God is upon you, that the Spirit of God goes where you go. Only when you come to this conviction are you fulfilling the statement that those who have the Spirit of God are children of God, heirs of God, joint heirs to all the heavenly riches. Only when the Spirit of God is with you. And this comes only through your recognition. The Spirit of God is with you whether or not you acknowledge it or recognize it, but it is of no avail to you. It is only through your awareness of it, your consciousness of its presence, that it functions. Therefore, when you come to an agreement within your own consciousness that the Spirit of God is within me, that the Spirit of God goes before me to make the crooked places straight. The Spirit of God goes before me to prepare mansions for me. The Spirit of God dwelleth in me. The Spirit of God hath ordained me. Only when you have come into this agreement do you become children of God. And then you live no longer by effort, but by grace. You then inherit your good, not labor for it, struggle for it, strive for it. This in no wise means that you enter a life of indolence, because once the Spirit of God is upon you, you are called upon to fulfill God's mission for you, and that entails a lot of work, but no longer striving or struggling, and no longer seeking for things. And this is where the miracle takes place. This changes our entire concept of prayer. For now, we no longer pray for the things of this world. We no longer pray for what we shall eat or what we shall drink or wherewithal we shall be clothed or housed. We no longer pray for happiness. We no longer pray for security. We no longer pray for peace on earth. Our prayer now is a continuous inner communion with that Spirit which we have acknowledged. It is an inner living in the realization of this presence. Therefore, there's no need to pray for safety when I have acknowledged that there is the Spirit within me that says, fear not and be not afraid. There is no need to pray for abundance, since I am communing within with the very Spirit that says, I am come that you may have abundance. It is His good pleasure to give you the kingdom, not have you pray for it. The very presence of the Spirit is the assurance of abundance in all our ways. Abundant peace, abundant happiness, abundant joy. In thy presence is fulfillment. And therefore, our inner communing with this presence assures our fulfillment without praying for fulfillment. In other words, the nature of prayer is immediately changed. No longer do we take thought for anything that concerns our human life, because with the assurance of this inner presence and its function to give us life more abundant, we have nothing more to do with the outer plane of life except accept God's grace as it flows into and through our experience, and of course compelling us to share the 12 baskets full with those who have not yet realized that there is no use struggling for baskets full. Struggle only for the awareness that I, the Spirit of God, am within you. The baskets will appear of their own accord. There is no use of struggling for health, even through prayer or treatment. Once you have realized that the function of the Spirit of God in you is to give you health abundantly.